The Islamabad High Court in Pakistan has suspended former Prime Minister Imran Khan's conviction on corruption charges. A two-judge bench ordered the former Prime Minister's release on bail. Imran Khan was handed a 3-year sentence on the 5th of August for lawfully selling state gifts during his tenure as Prime Minister. Mr. Khan is accused by the Election Commission of misusing his 2018 to 2022 premiership to unlawfully buy and sell gifts in state possession that were received during visits abroad and are worth more than 140 million Pakistani rupees. I'm joined now by global affairs analyst Shahzad Rahim, who joins us live from Turkey to discuss the latest development in this story. Thank you for joining us this hour. The former Pakistani Prime Minister faces dozens of other cases, including charges of abetting murder and also orchestrating violent protests that followed his initial arrest in May. These are all accusations he's now denied. But what does his continued incarceration mean for political stability in Pakistan, saying how strong his following is as former Prime Minister and cricket star?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. So the issue, the political instability in Pakistan is ensuing since last year. We have seen when the illegitimate coup was organized against Mr. Khan, in the parliament in April, that led to the downfall of his government. Let me tell you, we need to have a brief history of what happened. According to Khan and his supporters, and especially his top party leadership, the coup against him was organized. It started organizing by the US and their meddlers in Pakistan back in October of 2021. That continued into 2022. And what became the bigger point of for the overthrow of the government was when Imran Khan visited Russia on the eve of Russian invasion of Ukraine on February 24. So this created a huge rift, shockwaves across the West. And the Americans, they deliberately organized this whole coup d'etat, which started in March and continued till April and finally led to the overthrow of Prime Minister Imran Khan. Since then, we have seen there's a huge domestic political instability because the Khan called, he said, he had a secret cipher sent by the US administration to our Prime Minister, to our Foreign Office, that clearly says, if Imran Khan try to become neutral on the issue of Russia-Ukraine war, then Pakistan may face huge difficulties.
But
so
Mr. Rahim, Mr. Khan's allegation about U.S. involvement has now been denied by both U.S. and the Pakistani military. Is this allegation not giving too much influence to the U.S. in Pakistan? Is that something that is substantial and that can be proven?
Yeah, this is substantial, because we know, the Pakistani political elite, especially the establishment, has been aligned with the U.S. since the Cold War. We have seen, the Pakistani military has been, has always been aligned itself with the United States. So Imran Khan, what he was trying to do, he was trying to free the Pakistani foreign policy from the chance of the military establishment, but he couldn't become successful because the military establishment runs the game in Pakistan. The political leadership is just a puppet. And we have seen, the whole history is a record in front of us. So the ongoing instability in the country is a clear example. The establishment doesn't want Imran Khan to come into power again. And the trial court, which sent Imran Khan to the prison on August 5 on the charges of the so-called Toshakhana of the selling of the state, illegally selling the state gifts or something, this kind of case, to the prison was hugely orchestrated by the establishment because the establishment doesn't want Imran Khan to participate in the coming elections. So this is being directly in the orders of the US. And we have seen recently, The Intercept, one of the famous United States news websites, have got this cipher, which was sent to the Foreign Office before the removal of Imran Khan. So this has become very clear that Donald Lu, who was then serving as the representative of South Asian affairs from the US, orchestrated this whole coup by collaborating with the internal elements within Pakistan. So this has become clear, and this whole political instability just got its root in that particular episode, which happened in April, back in 2022.
So the allegation of U.S. involvement is something that precedes Khan's premiership. The idea of a Western involvement in Pakistan politics has always stayed in the news. But let's talk about the possibility of Mr. Khan returning to power. It's still unclear how the ban on his contesting elections will be affected, with the suspension of a sentence. But what are his chances of running again, particularly in an election scheduled for later this year?
Yeah, in my opinion, it's very hard because we have seen, he has been barred from participating in the elections for 5 years almost. So it seems impossible currently because 180 cases, different cases have been registered against him in different parts of Pakistan. These cases are related to cipher, related to corruption, and many other cases. So it seems totally impossible that the establishment will allow Imran Khan to participate in the coming election, despite his soaring popularity in the country, because the people want him to be in power again. But the problem is the establishment doesn't want him, because we have seen the whole this party was his party is not right now. It's not like that it was back in 2022. Most of his senior leadership was forced and pressured to leave the party. So right now Imran Khan seems alone, and it doesn't seem like the establishment will allow him to participate.
So there's what the establishment wants, but there's also what a substantial number of people in Pakistan want, given the violent protests that followed his initial arrest months before now. How do you think those two, incidences can coexist?
Pakistan is a very different country. It's a very complex country. In order to understand its political system, we cannot exclude the establishment. The establishment in Pakistan means the bureaucracy, the military, the intelligence services, and the media. Right now, every part of this whole bureaucracy, the establishment is being controlled by the army, and they doesn't want Imran Khan to be in power again. So they will do everything in their capacity, despite the will and wishes of the people in the country, because the people are still struggling. If you go to social media, you go to the streets, people are they're having a very positive view of Imran Khan and his party. But despite his soaring popularity, so the deep destruction and the deep state in the country doesn't allow him to run in the elections again or to come to power again, because they know the consequences. Because if Imran Khan came to power again, and this might run this might become a huge disaster for the deep state, especially for the establishment in the country, because he will fight back when he comes to power. So that's the major reason.
Interesting days ahead for the politics in Pakistan. Global affairs analyst Shahzada Rahim, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.